WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. I think this qualifies Bunnahabhain Fèis Ìle 2023 limited edition Canasta sherry. Ooh. So, Canasta Cask matured, 51.2%. It's not cask strength. They just lowered it down by a tiny little bit, but it is no added color, non-chilled filtered, and this is a full maturation Canasta sherry. You don't know what it is? Well, neither did I. So, at the back of this nice little thing, there's a QR code, and if you QR code that, if you scan it with your phone, you actually be sent to the Bunna website by YouTube, and you'll see a 360, which is kind of dumb to be honest, but that's fine. But it's a review of this whiskey at the warehouse number 9 at Bunna Distillery, where they talk a little bit about that. And they mention in that video that there was in 1980, 43 years ago, a legendary Canasta sherry bottling. And they finally got around to replicating that, or to honoring that by doing it again, let's say that. I don't know about you, but I don't think I was drinking any whiskey in 1980. I'm a 53-year-old man at the moment, and that meant back then I would have been 11. I mean, come on, anyone that's 30 years old then is now in their 80s almost. So, all right, but hey, history's history, right? Now, Canasta, this is actually from a bodega, very famous bodega now here. Oh, look. So, a very famous bodega called here William and Humbert, and they make a cream sherry. It's like, I know my sherries. I've never heard of Canasta. Well, Canasta is a type of cream sherry. It is a blend of Oloroso, 75%, and Pedro Ximenez, 25%. So we have the Palomino grapes, those are Oloroso. We have the Pedro Ximenez grapes, boom. All right, and this is the best of both worlds, they say here. The Oloroso sherry is a little bit spicy. The Pedro Ximenez is a lot sweeter, and you make a cream sherry. Very, very nice. I actually bought this directly from the distillery for 109 euros. I bought 2 bottles, so I'm part of the coterie, which means that exclusive group of people that are members of the Bunna team. And so I got an email a week and a half ago, and they said, here, for Fèis Ìle, this, you can buy the bottle. I just didn't have time. They sent out another one and said, 2 days from now, we're going to release these bottles, everyone. Your last chance to buy it as an exclusive member. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I got a little bit of time. And, oh, yeah, that looks nice, and let's do that as well. And so it was pretty good. All right, so we have here, Fèis Ìle is a time for celebration. The coming together of friends from across the globe year on year to celebrate whiskey and music on our Islay home. And what better way to celebrate than with this special dram? I, so far, and I think I'm going to continue in my life, to boycott Fèis Ìle. Now, why? For other people, it's Mecca. It's a place they've always wanted to be. They always want to take part in that celebration. I just think it's kind of too big. This is a very tiny island. I was there last year. I purposely went there before Fèis Ìle, visited all the distilleries that were open, that were available to us, which means every single one except for Ìle. And they were just a few weeks later, they opened up right on time for Fèis Ìle, which was good. And it was hard enough to get any type of accommodation on the island for that time, let alone having to book basically years in advance for Fèis Ìle. And so I just said, nope, that's not for me. I'll go after, I'll go before, but I won't go during this time of chaotic type of gathering with just way too many people on this island with very limited resources. All right, personal opinion. If you want, hey, go for it. I hope you have a great time. I hope you love it. Islay is definitely worth the trip. If you're a peat head, even more. If you're not, like me, it was a fantastic, magical island. And if you don't believe me, just Google Islay Aquavite Roy. And you're going to just the magic of Islay. All right, talking about the magic of Islay, what am I going to compare it to? Now, some of you are probably hoping that I'm going to compare it to my discovery of the year so far from Bunna. That is their Cask Strength 2022 edition. This is 12 years of age. This is 56.6%. This is actually, for me, over here in Germany, 10 euros cheaper than this. So I paid 90 euros for that, or 95, whatever, but still. This is cheaper with an age statement than this without an age statement. Is this a limited release? Yes. Is that a limited release? Yes. This is a no age statement. I really, really would love to have heard, okay, 6 years. Okay, 8 years. All right, 10, 9, 11, 14, who knows? Not an age statement at all. Now, there is a second whiskey that's part of the Fèis Ìle bottling series. It's going to be here where was that here? Okay. Oh, there's even more than one. I'm sorry. So there's, first of all, the Fèis Ìle 2023. It's a 1998 Malt cask finish, 52.3%. So we have a fairly old whiskey. So we're talking about 25 years of age here. 517 euros, which I just think is way too much. And there's actually for Fèis Ìle 2023 a 17-year-old Moin. That is their peated whiskey, triple cask. So we have Oloroso, interesting. We have bourbon, interesting. Then they put rum. I don't know of any sherry rum mixes I've really loved, but hey, who knows? And that's 52.6% for the 17-year-old. It's 258 euros. And so that's just not something I would. First of all, I'm not a peat guy, and second of all, no, that's a little bit too much. But this 105, that was like, that's interesting. All right. So this is Whiskybase. If you want to take a look, this is going to be 230952. All right, and there is one shop over there in the UK at the moment. According to Whiskybase, they have it for £89. All right, so the Whiskey Exchange has it for £95. Hard to Find Whiskey has it for £95. Whiskey Kingdom 95, and then you come over to Europe and you're at 105 to 110 euros for that, which is still an okay price. This is my favorite bottle of the year. I think 2022, the edition I had, which was the 2021, was the best. And then I had the 2022 at the beginning of 2023. Sorry for that little bit of the limited release came too late in the year. This is going to probably win of all the single malt scotches I've had the entire year. Again, unless something beats it. Will this beat it? Spoiler alert, no. All right, so this is going to be a solid B, and this is a solid A. Value for money, a C. Value for money, C+. C++. This is something where I've tried to buy a few bottles and stash them away because this is fantastic in my opinion. Just look at the color. All right, so you see that this, the 12-year-old, is much darker than the no age statement here of the Fèis Ìle 2023 Canasta sherry. Now there's definitely a wonderful sherry note that pops out. We have a little bit of figs. We have some nutmeg, we have some clove, we have a little bit of cinnamon, we have a little bit of orange zest going on in the background as well, which is not bad. A little bit of honey. It's nice. It's really, really nice. As I said, it's a B whiskey, and I don't often give Bs, but when you compare it to something that is super mega awesome, it just kind of feels less. This is darker. This has more brown sugar. This has more wood. This has more depth, complexity. This has more sherry goodness. This has more of the Bunna spice as well. This I could use as aftershave. This is so freaking good. All right, good. Going back to our Fèis Ìle. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a heat. The heat dissipates. There's a nice finish. Towards the back of that finish. Now, I'm complaining at a very, very, very high level here, all right? Behind all the goodness, behind all the spice, behind all the figs and the raisins and the sherry and the wood and all that, and a little bit of the orange zest, the orange peel, there's a tiny little bit of a citrus kick, which I wasn't expecting from Bunna. And there's a little bit of a, I'm going to call it a grassy, like lawnmower grass cut moment, just a tad. No age statement, if I were to guess, 8 years. All right, which I would have put on the label. They didn't. All right, it might be 6, it might be 10, I don't know. I would really, really like to know what the age is here. So, as the most northerly distillery in Islay, I just looked at myself and I was like, wait, okay, Kilholman. All right, go back up there. We have Atnaho, then we have Bunna. Okay, they can call themselves the most northerly island. All right, why not? We're renowned for our unpeated, classically sherried single malt. Amen. And this limited release is quintessentially Bunna in style. Fully matured and new Canasta sherry casks. The resting place was once home to skillfully blended sherries made from Palomino and Pedro Ximenez grapes. Canasta, wow, I can't read. Canasta casks are very classical in style with the balance of Oloroso sherry imparting flavors, spice, and the Pedro Ximenez adding layers of complexity, richness, and sweetness. The result is a distinctively special dram fitting for the best of celebrations. So let's raise a glass to friends near and far. Slancho. All right. I actually decided for myself that the 51.2% is not the perfect ABV. The perfect ABV for this is around 50, maybe 49.8, whatever, 49.6. The 50 is where that actually wows me more. All right, so don't, if you have a sample, if you get the little sample package, do I have my box here? No, I don't. All right, last year I did the Bunnahabhain Fèis Ìle samples. This year I'm not going to do it because I just bought the bottle, and so that's enough. If you get the little sample packages and you do the live tasting with them, do it. It's absolutely wonderful how they do it. I really like Bunna and their willingness to interact with the community online. Very, very nice. And if you can spare half of a CL, add a little bit of water, bring it down to 50%, and prove me wrong. All right. Very good. So I'm going to go over here one last time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It does get a lot of that bite of the alcohol. It gets rid of that. So the official tasting notes, which I can sometimes confirm here, the nose, classic sherried nose. Sweet and caramel, caramelized fruit, yep. Honey roasted nuts, maybe. Waves of cinnamon and clove with a hint of rancio. I don't have that in my tasting palate, rancio. Rancio. So on the palate, maple syrup, no. Leads with creamy vanilla, yes. Dried figs, definitely. Poached pears, maybe. Sprinkled cacao, so chocolate. A gentle twist of orange appears in the background, which turns a little bit for me then to that citrus. And it's a long and sweet, yes, with brown sugar, okay, red apples and vanilla custard. Absolutely fantastic. B, whiskey. C, for the value for money. I really like this. Now, my two questions of the day, and then I get to enjoy this. Question number one, Fèis Ìle. What's your opinion? Is this something you'd love to go to? Are you willing to sleep in the back seat of a car? Ferries to and from the island for the week before and the week after. Always a problem getting a place on them if you haven't booked in advance, and so on and so on and so on. Is that something you say, hey, very good, very, very good? It's just the limitations of the island are given. And people from all over the world want to go to that place at that time. It just doesn't suit me. And the second thing, what is your favorite Bunna product at the moment? Are they developing in a good direction? And I must honestly say yes. Bunna at the moment has not been disappointing. It's been very, very good. We had one or two little, with the Bunna 12 a couple of years ago, let's say right before COVID. There was a little bit of a concern, at least over here in Germany, that a few of the batches had a little bit of a lack of the quality we always loved and expected. You always have the leather in there, and that had gone a tiny little bit, but we've done blind tastings with others, Bunnas from the past, and the new edition wins now, almost always. So the limited release, what they're doing there is fabulous. What they're doing with some of the other things, I think Bunna is at the moment absolutely at the forefront of the distilleries that I can recommend and say, hey, especially with their unpeated whiskeys, their sherried whiskeys, great. And I'm going to say this, if you haven't already started to bunker or store away a few of the bottles that are out now for the future and before the prices really, really increase, I would recommend doing it. Yeah, so just like Macallan goes up and up and up in price, I could imagine, personal opinion, that Bunna is also going to fetch some good prices in maybe 5 or 10 years from now, especially from whiskeys that we have here. All right, good. One last little try of the 12 Cask Strength 2022. That is so good. If you haven't tried it, find a sample, find a store, buy a bottle. I cannot imagine anybody regretting it. Good? Great. Sorry. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys from Bunnahabhain. In this case, both sherry monsters, both excellent, very, very nice. But the winner is 12 Cask Strength 2022. See you soon. Bye-bye.